Welcome friends to our YouTube channel Free Learning with Surya Sir. Thanks to all our viewers who subscribe, like and share our videos. Our motto is free and fast learning is everyone's right. As we promised, this new video is going to be very informative, which covers CBSE class 7th science of chapter 2 nutrition in animals. प्लीज़ वीडियो के एंड तक बने रहिए and we hope you will enjoy the simplest form of discussion and narration on this topic. So without any delay, let's go to the topic nutrition in animals. Nutrition in animals, as we already discussed in nutrition in plants of chapter 1, the basic elements are same for animals to survive, and they are the unit blocks of animal body. Those are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. In the end of the day, these five elements, basic elements, is needed by the body so that the vital organs and the functioning of body works properly. ये पांच एलिमेंट जो होता है बॉडी के लिए एसेंशियल होता है, ये हेल्प करता है बॉडी के जो वाइटल ऑर्गन का फंक्शनिंग एंड डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज़ के लिए. These are the basic issues to our body. This topic is called nutrition in animals. As we already discussed, animals cannot prepare their own food in the body. Rather depends on plants or other animals. They are called the heterotrophs. They depend on others to get their food and to survive. So the main challenge for animals to digest the intake food and to extract the energy out of it, because as the animals are the heterotrophs, they have to take the they have to take the food from outside, and they have to go through a process what we call digestion process, uh, which in the end as a result of the process gives the energy, which is the main motive about this the vital process. The digestion process generally it starts from mouth and ends in the intestine. The end of intestine will cover of various parts and the locations where what how the digestion takes place. So in this nutrition in animals topic, the major discussion what syllabus says about the digestion system, to know our digestion systems particular for human beings, and we'll cover a brief about how other animals having the digestion system, even the single cell amoeba, how it takes place this digestion process. Okay, this particular slide is tells about the digestion system of human being. It starts with mouth, go through esophagus, which is called the food pipe. It reaches to the stomach and other organs helping in digestion, that is liver, gallbladder, pancreas. Then the intestine comes, where the food reaches the small intestine, then reaches to the large intestine, and in the end the digestion process ends. So as we mentioned here, starts from mouth, which is called buccal cavity. Then the food goes to the esophagus, so it's called a food pipe. Through food pipe, it reaches stomach. Uh, Liver has some role in digestion, and the gallbladder. Then the pancreas, the another organ just below the stomach, and then how the digestion takes place in small intestine, then large intestine, and the rectum. In the rectum, the digestion process ends. So let's go in detail how the digestion is started with mouth, because this is the starting point of this particular process. As we mentioned here, mechanical digestion of food begins in our mouth, because the 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 food that we take through our mouth, we generally grinding it, chewing it, and biting these particular foods to smaller pieces, so that the digestion process will be faster and easier further. During this process, teeth and the tongue has some other roles. Teeth is the mechanical element that helps in breaking down the larger particles of food to smaller particle. Tongue generally gives the sense us the taste of the food, so that we enjoy the food while chewing and eating our food on a daily basis. The process of food that we take through our mouth, it is called ingestion. This ingestion process starts in the mouth. Before we take, and the ingestion process starts, the salivary glands are there in the mouth. It secretes salivas, particularly in terms. Saliva helps in moist our food and make it a semi solid, so that it will be easier for the to go through the food pipe. Even the saliva having some enzymes which helps in digestion of the carbohydrates that starts from our mouth. As you mentioned here, this it produce almost 1 liter of saliva every day. Saliva contains that enzyme that helps break down carbohydrates. Also, the saliva helps in neutralizing the acidic nature of the food, so that it will be neutralized, and the slippery substance that makes food easier to swallow, which can go enter into that into the food pipe easily and reaches to the stomach. One of the biggest challenge we face is the bacteria grown in our teeth, in the teeth, that grows because of pretty much sweet or sweet related, or any foods that is with heavy sweet, that helps growing the bacteria in the teeth. This common problem is called tooth decay. So it is always suggested and recommended that everyone should have the brush twice in a day properly, so that all those hidden bacteria will be removed from the teeth, and the teeth will be healthier. There will be no problem of teeth decay. Okay, as we mentioned that in the mouth, teeth has an important role, because teeth has the mechanical role in break down the food into small pieces. So there are, if you go to the structure of the teeth, there are two sets of teeth in the upper and lower sockets of the jaws of our mouth, which is called the upper set of teeth and the lower set of teeth. The teeth at the infant stage are called the milk teeth, what is called primary teeth, and later on in our grown stage, it replaced by permanent teeth, which is called secondary teeth. And in adult, when we reaching our adulthood, the total number of teeth becomes 32 numbers. As in this picture, there is a very good color coding of types of teeth present in our mouth, in each of the side, like upper and lower side. If you see, there are eight incisors. It is in green color, mentioned in green color. These incisors are particularly for cutting and biting of the food. The next set is four canines we have, that is in red. So total four canines in our mouth. That particular canines are helping in piercing and tearing of the food. Then eight premolars are there. It is mentioned in the yellow color. They helps in chewing and grinding of the food. And in the end, there are 12 molars, which is mentioned in the 12 in the blue color, which is also helpful in chewing and grinding of food. So these are the types of teeth that we should know, that helps in our first phase of digestion. As we mentioned, tongue is the another organ that present in the mouth while digestion starts. Tongue is the another body part, and it helps in recognizing taste of the food, because without tasting the food, body never allows or enjoys the food to eat and to start the next further process of digestion. So in this particular picture we can see there is different color coding. The tip of the tongue is colored in blue, which generally recognizes salty and sweet food. The taste of salty and sweet that recognized by the tip of the tongue. Just up there is in both the sides there are brown patches. That particular area responsible for sensing or taste to get the taste of sour food or the spicy food. In the end of the tongue there is a green patch, which this particular portion of tongue responsible to have the taste of bitter food. Okay, now the chewing, grinding, and breakdown of food to smaller pieces has already been done in our mouth. Now that particular semi-liquid chyme, which we called as a chyme, the specific semi-liquid of form of food, now ready to move to our stomach through the food pipe. So the food pipe is called the esophagus. In this picture, you can see how the structure of the esophagus. This is the anatomy of the esophagus, and the cross section shows how the ridges, like star shaped ridges, are there inside the food pipe, which helps in moving the food from mouth to the stomach. The process is called peristalsis. uh, Continuous contraction and expansion. It by using that particular continuous contraction and expansion, the food goes slowly from mouth to down to the stomach easily. There is this particular process, as we discussed, called peristalsis. Okay, now our food through food pipe now reaches to the stomach. Stomach is a major organ in the digestion system, the whole digestion system. Our digestive system mainly depend upon the stomach and its secretions. Because of the secretion from the stomach, the food particles further break down and helps in digestion of the proteins that available in our food. The stomach is a thick-walled and flattened U-shaped organ. It receives food from esophagus and opens into small intestine. So this particular organ, stomach, it connects our uh, esophagus to the intestine. Some of the secretions generally help in digestion of proteins, kills bacteria, and protect inner stomach wall from acid. There are many secretions. You can see there is HCl secretion. HCl is acidic in nature, which generally why it secretes in our stomach, because the food might have some bacteria and other external substance that is harmful to our body. So HCl, as it is in acidic in nature, because of this acidic nature, those kills the bacteria and maintain the pH of the stomach acidic 2 to 3. It also activates the pepsinogen, one of the secretion. HCl helps in activate the pepsinogen, because pepsinogen secretion has further requirement in our stomach digest to digest protein and different protein related substances available in the food. uh, then another secretion is mucus. Mucus is insoluble and soluble both. These are generally a lubricant type of secretes from the inner wall of the stomach. Because HCl is the acidic secretion is there already in the stomach. Mucus helps our stomach inner line from any kind of damage because of this acid. So it protects lining from acid and enzymes. So this mucus are pretty much a secretion for inner protection of the stomach lining. Then other secretions like lipase, they are generally secretions helps in digestion of carbohydrates in the stomach, but it is very nominal and is very few. But basically, maximum in maximum volume, if you just segregate our digestion. Proteins, basically proteins are the food that's going to be digested in maximum volume in the stomach. Okay, stomach have now the food, and it's already having some secretions mixed with the chyme or the semi-liquid form of food. uh, the food still have some other elements to be digested. So the role of liver comes to in place. Liver, you can see this is a reddish brown and the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice from gallbladder. Gallbladder is connected with liver, and it opens into the intestine. uh, the what exactly the bile juice is required for? It helps in digestion of fats, because as we know, our food might have contains fat, carbohydrate, minerals, many things. So the fats part is being digested by the gallbladder secretion, is called bile juice. Then another organ is also helps in digestion, that is called pancreas. Pancreas is a cream color gland located just below stomach, and it secretes pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice, that particular helps in acts on carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and changes them to a simpler form. So as we discussed from the beginning, the digestion of different elements like carbohydrate, proteins, fats, and other elements started getting digested in different organs with specific role to take place. Starting from mouth, predominantly the carbohydrates get digested, and in the stomach mostly the proteins part get digested, and because of the bile juice or the pancreatic juice, when the food reaches at the intestine, it helps in acts on carbohydrate, fats, and proteins all. So the process of digestion of those particular food substances is still continuing till the particular chyme is reaches to the intestine. So now the food is reaches at the small intestine. So let's discuss how digestion in small intestine take place. The small intestine is highly coiled, and it is 7.5 meters of long organs, which is quite a long organ available in the body of human. So the fact says the small intestines helps in part of digestion. Over 90% of the digestion and absorption of food occurs here in the small intestine. The rest 10% takes place in stomach and large intestine together. So this small intestine is quite a very important role in our digestive system, as 90% of the digestion and absorption of food takes place here. So the main function of the small intestine, as we discussed, absorption of nutrients from the small particles, that already the food is broken down to small particles. From that small particles, how the basic elements like the absorption of nutrients and minerals from how to take place, that mainly functioning in the small intestine. How it works, there is a pictorial representation you can see. This is called the anatomy of the small intestine. And the inner wall, you can see, is a villi or the finger like structures are there. This particular villi or the finger like structures helps in absorb the digested food material and transport via blood vessels. So whatever the nutrients absorbs throughout this digestive system, when food reaches to the small intestine, it starts absorbing those particular food materials, or or the basic elements, or the simplest elements, and it transport to the blood vessels. so that those extracts will reach out to the different organs to build complex substance and continue the vitality of the body and makes our body energetic. So this whole process is called assimilation. In class 7th syllabus, these are the basic, only the overview given about the anatomy and the functioning of different body organs, including small intestine. When you reach a certain class 10 or 11 to 12th, in detail, those particular anatomy and the functioning discussed. Uh, this is just about the what NCERT or the CBSE syllabus suggests to cover up. A large intestine, which is wider but shorter than small intestine. Its length is around 1.5 meter. If you say this particular large intestine having pouch-like structures, three parts. One is ascending, the horizontal, and the descending part. Appendix actually, that vestigial organ is a part of this large intestine. What is the function of the large intestine? If you discuss, then it says is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food, because the digestion already takes place throughout the alimentary canal, from starting from mouth to into small intestine. So sometimes what happens, some undigested food still remain, which is not cannot be further divided and broken down. So we called it is as undigested food. So what large intestine does, it absorbs all water and remains salts from that undigested food, so that it will be complete. The digestion system will the digestive the process will be completed, and the undigested food will remain there. So the remaining waste passes to rectum as semi-solid, we call it as feces, or the fecal matter, which is removed through the anus, and we called as egestion process. So egestion process takes place, and every day we used to go to a toilet because to complete this egestion process. So this is the end of the digestion process, which is started from the mouth. Okay. Uh, that till now we have already discussed how the digestion process being carried out in the human beings, particularly in the human body. But apart from that, other animals which are predominantly depend upon grass grazing, how the nutrition or the digestion process occurs. We will have a brief discussion here. We have given an example of a cow. They quickly swallow the grass, particularly it is cellulose in nature, so it is very difficult to extract the food directly from the cellulose. So after they quickly swallow those grass and store in a part of store it in a part of stomach, it is called rumen. So rumen is a temporary compartment in the stomach of the cows or buffaloes or any grass grazing animal. In that rumen, the partial digestive food remain there. So later on, what they do, they they later on again extract all those rumen, and again start chewing. So the cow, you have seen cows continues chewing even after her taking their food. So what they do, they generally extract the rumen again, and they again redigest, try to redigest all those undigested food. This process is called rumination, and the animals are called ruminants. All those animals who do chewing continuously after taking the food for a longer time, we call them as ruminants. One example is like all the cattles are ruminants. Apart from that, even animals called one-celled, single-celled organism also we call as animal. Amoeba is the example. So let's discuss on feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism. It constantly changes shape and position. Just complete the digestion process and take their food to survive. We will discuss here. In the structure, you can see there is pseudopods. We call pseudopodia or false feet It helps in the movements of the amoeba from one place to another, even more to take the food and capture the food. When the amoeba senses any food nearby, it pushes out the pseudopodia around the food particle and engulf it. It just makes a surrounding through the pseudopodia, and it covers up that food inside that. Then we call this that this is the process, like the food becomes trapped in a food vacuole. The food vacuole is there when that particular food is just trapped. We call this food vacuole. It creates a food vacuole. uh, why it is create this food vacuole? Because digestion choose to be secreted there to the target, because food is just trapped there. So the digestion juice secreted into the food vacuole, and it breaks down to the simpler substance, so that amoeba can easily absorb those food and for the survive. So this is the picture of the amoeba, how the nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane is there, food vacuole is there, pseudopods are there. This is the simplest microscopic single cell organism where the digestion also takes place. It is not like only the human beings. As we see, in nutrition in animals means the digestion process is an essential part for each and every animal, whether it is single celled organism or the multi celled complex animal like human beings. Okay, guys. I mean, I think we are end of this particular learning. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and sharing our channel. Our channel is Free Learning with Surya Sir. It is available on